Boy, we're here again. We're live. We're live. We're live. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Road to Tape film crew, welcome to a special edition, another episode of Road to Tape podcast with Manager Marty. I'm your host, Manager Marty. We got a lot of boxing to talk about. Yes, who that? Who somebody called me Mac Marty? Come on, man. Y'all know Mac Marty. Activated. Activated. Y'all already know. Activated. Salute to everybody in the chat. Ariana, salute to you, sweetheart. Good to see you. Who we got in here? Lucky McKennels. Salute to you. Good to see you. Cash Crypto. Salute to you. Good to see you. I've been gone for a minute, but I'm back. Man, we got a lot. Look, man. Look, I just want to talk to y'all about two things. All right? Just two. I'm not going to hold you all too long. I miss y'all, by the way. I miss you. If you're watching a replay of this live, I welcome you. Come on in. Please do not leave the door open. Don't stand in the doorway because you're going to let the air out. The air fryer is warming up. So come on in, grab a plate, have a seat. I got some food for you, some food for thought. I am probably the most qualified person in the business of boxing here in the YouTube boxing community to speak on this topic. Why not talk about it now? I started to come up here yesterday, but my schedule did not allow me to have the opportunity to do so. But I'm up here today, and I'll be here all week because I already got a feeling. I have a premonition that when I drop what I'm gonna drop today, you know some people gonna have something to say about it. I'm gonna be here all week. Just want to put that out there real quick so there won't be any misunderstandings, okay? Because everything I'm gonna say pertains to the business of boxing, as I always do. Because there's the elephant in the room, and I don't know. I haven't been on YouTube lately, so I don't know what's been going on, who said what, I don't know. But all I know, we need answers. And I think today we're going to get some answers. Before we get into what I want to get into regarding Brian Norman Jr. versus Jaron Boots Ennis, I want to talk about Shakur Stevenson just for a few minutes, if y'all don't mind. You know I haven't been here. So we got to deal with it. What's going on with Shakur Stevenson? Now, let me pull up Shakur Stevenson's situation right now, because I forgot the guy's name he's supposed to be fighting. I forgot all about it. And I've been going, so I didn't get an opportunity to publicly speak on it. So I'm going to render my verdict today. Double salute to my guy, All Things. Appreciate you so much, All Things. Y'all know he is a member of the channel. He's also a supervisor of the Road to Tape film crew. And he's actually asking me to give Ariana a wrench. And I thought I actually gave Ariana a wrench a while ago. But let me see something. Can I do it now? I know the last time I tried to do it in a live show, it wouldn't allow me to do it. But Ariana, check and see if I just did it. But the last time this happened, when I gave a wrench out live, I don't know who was that? Key Alexander? She didn't get it. But if that's the case, Ariana, you know Manager Marty got you, sweetheart. When this is over, I'm going to make sure I go in, right? I'm going to go back in the live, and I'm going to make sure you get a wrench. You good. I thought I gave you one already, so that's my apologies. Let's pull up Shakur Stevenson real quick. He's fighting this guy, Joe Cordina. That's the guy that got knocked out, right? No, I don't think that's him. I heard that. I've seen him fight before. Probably like twice. I thought I seen this. Oh, that is him. Right. See? I knew that was him. That's who Shakur fighting? Him? Y'all talking about him? Shakur Stevenson's fighting that guy. I don't want to start no drama, but let me say this real. Well, maybe I do, but this is what I'm saying. Wasn't Shakur saying that he want to fight Tank Davis? I'm trying to figure out what happened. Now, some of y'all might say I'm late on the news. I should have been talked about this. Well, I'm talking about it now. Wasn't Shakur Stevenson supposed to fight Tank Davis? That's just a question. I don't want to go back and forth. I just want to know if that's if that's the narrative that we've been hearing. Yes. Why is he fighting this guy Joe Cordina? What are he fighting him for again? Isn't Shakur Stevenson a free agent? Or is he signed with Matchroom? He signed with Match. Somebody bring me up to speed. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. You know, because the last time I saw most of you, I was on a snack program. Y'all remember that? I was talking about the... Y'all remember that? So is he fighting that guy? Let me see who's running this thing here. I know Matchroom got a lot to do with it because I saw Shakur Stevenson sitting next to Eddie Hearn at the Terrence Crawford fight. We saw that. Oh, Bob Arum still got his hand in this? He still got his hand on it. Bob Arum and Top Rank still got their hand on this card, I see. Oh, okay. Okay, so the Zone and ESPN, they both going to do a joint. Okay. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, so this is my thing. Shakur Stevenson fighting on the undercard of this fight, right? He a free agent, right? Okay. I mean, he could have fought Tank in the main event. That's what I mean. He's a free agent, right? Okay. I always wanted to say that, but you know, haven't been around in a little minute. Oh, okay. Thank you, Cash. So Shakur Stevenson has a 2-fight deal with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Promotions. That's what I'm hearing. 2-fight deal. This their first fight with him? Okay. See, this is what I'm trying to say, basically. What I'm really trying to say is that it's time for boxers and their crew and their representation, whoever else that roll with the camp. It's time for boxers to stop going back and forth saying they want to fight each other, and then when it's time to fight, they don't fight. Because what happens is boxing fans will say, not all boxing fans, but some will say, it's the business of boxing. You've heard your favorite content creators say that, haven't you, some of you? It's the politics of boxing. You've heard your favorite content creators say that, some of you. I'm not talking about me. Most of y'all know I'm your favorite content creator. I get it. But I'm talking about the other guys that be on YouTube, the other content creators. They be saying that, right? That don't know nothing about the business. No, I'm not coming at none of them. It's just a few in particular that keep saying it's the politics of boxing, it's the business of boxing, of why these fights don't happen. But then the fighters get the fans riled up, and then the fights don't happen. You want to know why the fights don't happen? Because it's us in the background, the suits and the boots. I'm talking about us, and I'm not saying Jaron Ennis when I say boots. I'm talking about the managers, the promoters. I'm talking about us, the ones that represent the business of boxing. Okay? We know what we're doing behind the scenes. We don't go by the feelings of how a fighter feel. We don't go by the feelings of how a fan feel. Everything has to make perfect sense. It's all about timing when we talk about the business of boxing. So when you see and hear fighters go back and forth, blah, 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 if it's not written on a paper, you know, the commission. See, when I say the commission paper, those of us that are in the business know what I'm talking about. If it's not written on that, there's not signature signed on both parties on that paper, fight's not going to happen. Don't matter what the fighters say. It's not important. What's really important is, should I answer this, y'all? Should I answer this? I am going to answer it. I have to. I got to stop my whole show to answer this. Hold on one second. All right, I had to stop the show. Hold on for a minute. Who that? Who that? Dre? Man, salute to my guy, Andre Noble. What's going on? I know I'm muted. I had to answer the phone. Hold on for 1 second. Hey, C.
I'm here.
All right, you guys say hi to the people, and then I'm gonna call you back, okay?
All right, hi people.
That's the family right there, baby. You guys see, you know what I'm saying?
What's up?
See, that's all. That's hey, y'all. That's what I had to answer the phone for. You know, I got to stop the whole show when the call come in. All right, enough with the hugs, handshakes, and Valentine's Day card. Let's get back to this. I'm trying to figure out. Shakur Stevenson said he wanted to fight Tank Davis in the main event. I'm talking about big time money, but I guess that fight's not going to happen right now because he's going to be fighting on an undercard against a guy who got knocked out in May, right? I'm not mad at none of this. I'm just trying to use it as a teachable moment because I'm going to bring it back around and spin the block when we talk about Brian Norman Jr. and Boots in 1 second, okay? So back to Shakur. Didn't Top Rank offer him $3 million a fight? I mean, that's just what I heard. $3 million per fight in a 3-fight deal. Now, I wish one of y'all would tell me the most credible businessman representing the sport of boxing on YouTube that Shakur Stevenson is getting paid more than $3 million to fight this guy Joe on the undercard. I wish somebody would tell me that with a straight face too. I'd be surprised. I'd actually be happy because you know I represent the fighters. But I'd be surprised if Shakur Stevenson will be making more than what Top Rank was going to offer him and probably had a better chance of securing a fight with Tank. All I'm basically saying is it's time for these fights to start happening. We hear people keep talking over and over again, but it's time for these fights to happen now. And all the big fights don't have to happen now. I'm talking about the fights where it was too much talking going on behind the scenes a year ago, 6 months ago. That's all I'm talking about. So I'm actually surprised that who said that? Come on, Cash Crypto. We know Shakur Stevenson is not making no $5 million to fight this guy on the undercard. We know that. I don't know who's people saying it on YouTube. Come on, man. I'm not pocket watching. It don't make me no difference. All I'm trying to figure out is why is this fight with Tank Davis not happening when he's a free agent? Shakur Stevens is a free agent, right? Okay. He said it's Top Rank and Bob Arum. He said it's them. They're the ones, particularly Bob Arum, that don't push black fighters. Hey, I'm just telling you what I heard Shakur say in the interview. That Bob Arum has a history of not pushing black fighters. And I heard him in an interview, and he said, as a reference, he said Terrence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. He used those two fighters as a reference. And he used Terrence Crawford because he was basically saying that Manny Pacquiao got the push and not Terrence Crawford. He brought up Floyd Mayweather because he was saying Oscar De La Hoya got the push and not Floyd Mayweather. But here's the truth of the matter. It wasn't because Terrence Crawford was black. It wasn't because Floyd Mayweather was black. It was because they had to be number two to two cash cows that were in front of them at the time that they were with Top Rank. At the time, Manny Pacquiao, and still to this day, of course, sells more tickets than Terrence Crawford. That's not an opinion, that is a fact. At that time, Oscar De La Hoya sold more pay-per-views and more tickets than Floyd Mayweather. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. It's not because they were black. So I just wanted to set the tone for that. So all I'm saying is Shakur Stevenson is fighting on the undercard. Every time we saw Shakur Stevenson fight, and I'm saying we, the hardcore fans who really follow the business and the sport of boxing, when we saw Shakur Stevenson fight and certain fights that was highlighted on ESPN for many years now, he was always the what? Main event attraction, right? Okay then. Now on this card, as a free agent, a person who has more leverage, he's not that right now. Now, I'm sure he's going to make some good money, but I don't think it's going to be more than what Top Rank was going to offer him, not to fight this guy on an undercard in another country. See, it's hard to sell tickets when you're from America and you're going to be competing in another country. As the headliner, it's tough, let alone on an undercard. That's tough. Double salute to my guy, Andre Noble. Thank you for the super chat, first but not the last of the evening. Andre Noble says in the super chat, stop going ghost, fam. I appreciate the accountability, Dre. Thank you, man. You know I never ghost y'all, man. You know, hey, when business call, I got to take care of the business. I have to take care of the business. Personally, mentally, professionally, I have to take care of the business. And I apologize for my delays and not coming back on here. I haven't even put any content out. This is the lowest I've ever made on YouTube. But I'm glad that I still have the family here to support me. So I appreciate all your support. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. You know, look, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here all week. All week, I'm going to be here. Tomorrow, 30, Friday. I'm not going to be here Saturday. I definitely will be back here on Sunday. Yeah. We back. We back in a rotation. So that's what I'm trying to figure out with Shakur Stevenson. I just wanted to put that out there because, you know, there's a lot of interviews Shakur Stevenson is doing. In fact, his recent one as well. And, you know, everybody's going to ask him about Tank Davis. So this is no shade towards Shakur Stevenson. I don't have to qualify whether I like somebody or not to give my perspective regarding the business of boxing. Because, you know, some people they have to say, oh, man, I really like this person. It's not about whether I like somebody or don't like somebody. We got to call it straight down the middle, spade to spade. So that's my thing on Shakur Stevenson, all right? I really want him to fight Tank Davis. At this point in the game, as a free agent, that's who he should have fought. That's just my, hey, let's talk about the business. But that's not who he's fighting. He's fighting on the undercard against a guy who got knocked out, a guy who's moving up in weight, by the way. And this is his first fight moving up in weight, right? Not Shakur Stevenson, the guy Joe, right? Okay, then so we understand what this is about, don't we? And this is not a knock on Joe. What's his name? Joe Cordina? This is not a knock on him. It's just the business. We know what he's coming in there to do. And we know what he's coming in that ring to be. We know this already. And there's no disrespect to him because he deserves respect and credit for getting in the ring. Joe Cordina. But we know what this is, don't we? All right. We know what this is. It's for Shakur Stevenson to look good. That's what this is. And by right, it should be this way. I would like for him to have been the headliner if he had to do it. But hey, you got to get in when you fit in because, hey, when somebody else is cutting the check, they're the ones that determine what a person's worth is. And speaking of that, because Shakur Stevenson said he knew his worth, that's why he turned down a $3 million 3-fight deal. And I'm saying $3 million, meaning $3 million per fight in a 3-fight deal with Top Rank and Bob Arum. Right? And that's what the premise and foundation of this video are going to be about today with regards to Brian Norman Jr. versus Boots. We got to talk about it. You ain't going to find this nowhere else. That's why I'm glad you're here. I'm glad y'all here because y'all know I'm the most controversial, YouTuber in the boxing community. So it's not going to stop for me being that today. So here's the thing. Let's segue right into it. And I'm going to segue into it by exiting out of what I'm saying about Shakur Stevenson and then entering into the door in the room of what I'm about to say about Brian Norman Jr. versus Jaron Boots Ennis. Shakur Stevenson said he knows his worth. Y'all heard me say this about Terrence Crawford when Terrence Crawford was saying that he knows his worth when he was negotiating with Al Heyman. Y'all remember that, right? When he was negotiating with Al Heyman, we going all the way back. November of 2022. We're going all the way back. Some of y'all remember. Y'all were on this channel. Y'all remember when I said what I'm about to say now, and I'm going to take it a step further. When Terrence Crawford said that he turned down the offer that was initially made to him, right, on a term sheet because of him knowing his worth. I hear a lot of professional athletes say they know their worth. I hear professional boxers say they know their worth. Salute to my guy. The family is in the building. He's in the chat. My guy, Lump. What's up, Lump? I keep hearing fighters say they know their worth. We heard Shakur Stevenson say the reason why he turned down $3 million per fight in a 3-fight deal with Top Rank and Bob Arum is because he knows his worth. We hear boxers say that all the time. Your worth. That's not just for Shakur. This for every boxer that's listening to me right now. Any professional athlete, it doesn't make a difference. Your worth is not based on how you feel and what you think. Now I'm segueing this into Brian Norman Jr. and Boots, so y'all got to stay with me. Y'all got to stay with me now. Y'all, I got the smartest chat on the entire YouTube. Your worth as a professional boxer is not based on how you feel and what you think. That is not based on that. You know, there's a question, right, that I want every man, listen to me now, listen, you're going to learn something today. Every man, every single man, let me reframe it so you can understand the point that I'm driving home. Every single man should start asking this question. Like if you in the dating world, this is going to help you right here. Now, I didn't read this anywhere. No one told me to ask this question. I didn't hear this from no one else. This is just a question that I ask when I see that it's getting to a level of seriousness, right? This is for all you single men. If you're in the dating environment, you need to ask the lady of your life or the lady that you invest in your time in and resources in and your energy and affection, you got to ask her this question. Hey, and if there's women watching, well, there is a lot of women watching, but I recommend if you are single, you ask the man in your life. If you're single now, this might not work out for you if you ask this question when you got so much time in. That's why I prefaced it for single people, male and female, significant other. Ask them this question. Right in the beginning stages, you have to ask this question in the preliminary stages. I'm going to tell you what I came up with. And the reason why I came up with this, stay with me. Come on. Don't listen. Come on and have a seat. All of you watching the replay of this live, we're talking about boxing. I see a lot of people be complaining. I'm like, you don't be talking about boxing. Yeah, I'm talking about boxing. Come on in. Don't leave the door because you're going to let the air out now. Come on in. Grab a plate, have a seat. I'm going to give you some food for thought. The reason why I came up with the idea to ask this question, well, one of the reasons why, is because we're living in a society here in 2024, and it's been going on for over a decade, where we've heard people constantly through social media say, I know my worth. I'm not lowering my standards. I'm not settling. I know my worth. I know my worth. I know my worth, right? We hear that. Most women say that, but I've heard guys say that. But mainly we hear women say that, right? Right? I know my worth. I know my worth. I'm not settling, right? I'm not selling myself short. I know my worth. We hear a lot of professional boxers say that. I know my worth. I turned the offer down because I know my worth. I know my worth, right? We hear that. Okay. Your worth, and I say this to women, and I say this to professional boxers. Y'all have heard me say it 1,000 times. I'm going to say it again. Whoever just asked me a question, hey, Douglas, put it in the super chat. I got you. Put it in the super chat. I got you. I'm going to definitely ask you a question. Yeah, it's a good question. Okay. Your worth is not based on what you think and how you feel. So the question that I come up with, and I've been successful at getting some answers that I thought were good answers, and I've come up, and also I've gotten some answers that wasn't so really appealing to me. But the question that I ask, and I recommend every single man and woman that's listening to me live and living color and the replay that's live, ask this question. How can you add value to my life? How can you add value to my life? You know, because everybody want to tell you what their worth is. I've heard men say to women, what do you bring to the table? Y'all heard that before, right? You know, single men ask that question, what do you bring to the table? So we got some men that say, ask women, what do you bring to the table? We have some women that say, I know my worth. This is how you really eliminate both of those elements. Because neither answer makes a difference. What makes a difference is knowing how can this person add value to your life? Because based on how much value this person add to your life is how much you should be willing to invest your time, your energy, your resources, your affection, etc. Now, let me put that into business terms when we're talking about the sport of boxing and professional boxing athletes. Once again, a boxer's worth is not based on how they feel and what they think, right? Your worth in professional sports, and we're just going to leave it at boxing. Your worth as a professional boxer, it's not based on what you feel and what you think and how you feel. You know what it's based on? It's based on how much value are you able to add to the promoter's purse and or wallet? Because you know why? Because that's how much the promoter will be willing to invest his or her time, his or her resources, his or her marketing dollars, right? It's based on your performance inside the ring as a professional boxer, and it's based on your performance outside of the ring as a professional boxer. It's based on projection. Yeah, it's based on the velocity. See, hey, y'all know what I'm certified in. I don't have to tell you all that. But you know I got to put that hat on now. It's based on projection and velocity. If I put out, now I'm talking business now, hear me out. If I put out $5 and invest it, how fast can I recoup my initial investment of $5 and then turn around and make a profit? It's based on your performance out of the ring, right? We know what the performance looked like inside the ring as a boxer. But outside of the ring, what did you do in your last 3 fights? I'm talking numbers wise. Ticket sales with regards to live gate. You see, people wasn't talking about ticket sales, live gate, pay-per-view buys, ancillary rights, foreign distribution rates. People wasn't talking about that consistently on YouTube before I got here. Hey, I'm just putting it out there. So all I'm saying is this. If a professional boxer is not adding value to the promoter's wallet and or purse, then that fighter or professional boxer shouldn't expect the promoter to just basically just put out money just because the professional boxer think and or feel they know what their worth is. Your worth is based on the value you add. And if you're not adding value, then why should a promoter invest? Why? That's not good business. Y'all heard me say this time and time again. Don't nobody want to get in business to lose money. That's all across the board, no matter what industry you represent. Double salute to my guy, Dapper Douglas. Thank you so much for the super sticker, bro. Appreciate you. Can we get the likes up? You know I don't ask for much. I haven't been here in a minute. Can we at least make the likes congruent with the viewership? I don't ask for much. Can I get one like? Maybe I should just be a little bit more specific. May I get one like? What's up, Windy City Assassin? Can I get one like, though? I'm teaching you about the business of boxing. I'm about to teach you how it's going to go down with Brian Norman Jr. in boots if you stay with me long enough. I ain't going to hold you too long. So check this out. We keep hearing people talk about their worth in the business of boxing. But we got to see what the numbers is looking like, though. We got to see what your pay-per-views is looking like, though. We got to see what your live gate looking like, though. We got to see if the money that we put out as managers and boxers, we got to see if that money going, listen, as fastly as the money get kicked out, we talk about velocity now, the speed of the money, the speed of the return. That's my real estate talk. We'll get into that later on. But my point is, how fast the money come out my hand is how fast I want that money to come back into my hand. That's what I'm talking about, if some of you don't understand what I'm saying. All of these things are considered before a promoter even make a phone call. Before Eddie Hearn made a phone call to Top Rank, who represents Brian Norman Jr., who also have a manager, you don't think Eddie Hearn looked at the budget before he made the phone call? He had to. Want to know why? Because Bob Arum on the other end going to say, well, how much you willing to pay? Eddie going to have a number for him. That's all I'm saying. Eddie going to have a number for him. Want to know why? Because it's not about what I feel, what I think as a manager. Want to know why? It's not about what the promoter feel and what the promoter think. Want to know how? It's not about what the fighter think and how the fighter feel. It's about the market. And I've been teaching professional boxers the business since I got in it. It's not about your worth. You have to understand what the market is willing to pay for a fight of this magnitude. But if you don't understand the market, then how can you talk about you being slighted as a professional fighter? Or somebody meaning a promoter is trying to underpay you. How do you don't know what the market is willing to pay for it? You don't know. Your worth is based on the value you can add. It's not based on anything else. Now, the things that are included in the value you add, of course, I'm talking about those other elements: performance inside the ring, performance outside of the ring, projection, the velocity and speed of the money coming back as a return. All of those things are the elements involved when making a consideration and or a decision, when we're trying to consider, we meaning managers and promoters, trying to consider the value that a professional boxer add. And so with that being said, I'm going to roll the tape on a few things that I wanted to talk about regarding Brian Norman Sr., the father of Brian Norman Jr. He was on an interview with, he's been on interviews with several people. I think he was on there with my man YSM, Sports Media. He's also done an interview with Mill City. Those are the two I saw. So I'm going to refer to the interview that he did, or conversation. I don't know if it was an interview, but a conversation that Brian Norman Sr. Had with Mill City Boxing, and Zab Judah was also on there. And I want to roll the tape because he said a couple of things that I wanted to use as teachable moments to teach you and educate you about the business of boxing, because there's a contention that's going on. that's causing a lot of controversy, and we all know about it, so we might as well speak on it now, is that Boots, in his interview that he conducted with YSN Sports Media recently, said that Brian Norman Jr. turned down the fight because Brian Norman Jr. was offered an opportunity to fight Boots, but Boots said that Brian Norman Jr. turned the fight down. Brian Norman Jr. and his dad, Brian Norman Sr., both came out and they have emphatically denied those claims on social media, on Mill City Boxing, and I believe also YSM Sports Media. There's an elephant in the room, though, that I don't know if anyone else is talking about. Y'all know how I am. The family that represent this channel, the Roll the Tape Film crew, you know how I am. I get analytical. And then I think about things that most people don't think about. But it's easy for me because I know the business of boxing. So we want to deal with it today. And we're going to deal with it right now. I'm going to pull all this up because I want to make sure that we're on the same page. And so I'm going to start off with the first thing that Brian Norman Sr. said. He said about three things he said a lot, but it's only three things I wanted to point out and use as a teachable moment, for clarity purposes. And let me see, that was 1, 2, 3. All right, let's start here. We're going to start here. All right. Let me pull this up right now. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull this up. We're going to go right back into history and pull this. We're going to pull this up. Hold on.
You have a real big prayer. Hey, my son, everything I love at 23 years old will knock Boots out if they stand toe to toe. You heard what I said? Knock him out. Make him out if they stand toe. So if they take that fight toe to toe, it will knock him out. I'm positive he is harder than Boots. I'm positive.
This is big. I want to see this, brother.
I'm positive.
Clash of the Young Lions.
Yes, sir.
Big, brother. This is big. This is big. And this fight will be held at 47, right?
Yes, sir. For the title, for unification. For unification. And that's what I'm telling you about the money wise that they're saying it will be a unification bout.
Right.
Well, do you feel like the offer that was offered to you guys was life-changing money?
Life-changing money? I mean, it was a decent amount of money, but it ain't life-changing. It ain't life-changing. And based on what you know that fight is worth and what boxing is or whatever else, nah, I can't, nah.
100%.
All right. So Mill City Boxing asked Brian Norman Sr. the money that they were offered, the money that his son was offered to take this fight, was it life-changing money? Brian Norman Sr. says no, it's not life-changing money. He said it was a decent amount. Keep in mind, that's what he said. That's what he said. He said it was a decent amount. He said it was a decent amount. I'm just going by what the man said. He said it was a decent amount. It wasn't life-changing money, but it was a decent amount. I just want to make sure we all clear on that. It was a decent amount. It wasn't life-changing money, but it was because it's a unification bout. I believe that Brian Norman Sr. and Jr. and I guess their representation, the fighter's representation, believe that it wasn't enough. The father said it was decent money, but apparently the manager do not believe it was decent money. And I'm only saying that because of what we are going to hear the father say in just a few minutes, because I'm going to roll the tape on something else he said in the same conversation. So it was decent money, but it wasn't life-changing money. Hold on.
Whatever else, Nah. I can't. Nah.
100% is not life changing. What he's saying was it enough? Was it enough? So basically, it wasn't enough money where you think you guys would step in there and take the risk of war. That's what he means by, you know what I'm saying? Like, just share.
Nah, it's worth more than that. But again, our regular dads just at the thought of the fight said hell yeah immediately. It was our management that was like, nah, we can't accept that money. You know what I'm saying? we jumped at the idea of the fight.
Did y'all hear that? I'm gonna play it again because I heard a couple of things in that. Hold on for a minute.
Along boxing is or whatever else. Nah. I can't. Nah.
100% is not life changing. What he's saying was it enough? Was it enough? So basically, it wasn't enough money where you think you guys would step in there and take the risk of war. That's what he means by, you know what I'm saying? Like, just share.
Nah, it's worth more than that. But again, our regular dads just at the thought of the fight said hell yeah immediately. It was our management that was like, nah, we can't accept that money. You know what I'm saying?
All right. We on the same page? I just want to address the elephant in the room. I don't think no one else is talking. You ain't going to find this nowhere else. That's why I'm glad you're here. So let's put this in proper perspective. We know that Brian Norman Sr. said it was decent money. It wasn't life-changing money, but it was decent money. But we just heard him say, we can only go by what people say at this point. But we did hear him say, this Brian Norman Sr., the father, we just heard him say, our reckless ASSs, we was willing to just jump at the number when we heard on the phone what the number was. The money, when I say the numbers, the amount of money that they were willing to pay. We reckless because we know we can beat Boots. We jumped at it. But it was our manager that said it wasn't enough money. You see that? Hey, listen. Listen. I'm only going by what we were told. We're going to address the elephant in the room. Double salute to my guy, Lifeline Music TV. What's good? Omega Red, what's up? Smooth Criminal, how you doing, brother? That's what Brian Norman Sr. said. As soon as they heard the number, because it was a decent amount now. He said it was a decent amount. They was ready to just run right to it. But the manager said, nah, we can't accept that money. It's not enough. Now, Brian Norman Sr. said that fight is worth more than what they offered. So my question becomes, how does Brian Norman Sr. know? I'm not disputing. I know what the market is saying because I'm a boxing manager. But I'm trying to figure out is, how does he know what the fight's worth? And I'm not saying he doesn't know. What I'm really getting at is fighters don't know the market. I just said it a few minutes ago. Everybody get caught up in, I'm worth this, I'm worth that. I know my worth. I'm not settling for this. But what is the network willing to pay? See, that's the key. What is the promoter willing to pay? What is the fair market value in this climate of our economy? Most fighters don't know. Majority of people don't know. So that's why I'm asking the question of, how do we know what that fight is worth? When it was a decent amount. Because I have to say this, and most people going to get upset, but y'all going to be all right. Y'all know how I am. Whatever they were offered by Eddie Hearn, we all can, you don't have to have a degree in business to understand this. We all know that it was way more money than what Brian Norman Jr. made in his last fight on ESPN on the undercard. We know that. Now that we got that established, this was decent money. Because one thing we know about Eddie Hearn and them, they're going to pay. We know about, what's his name? Turkey Al-Shaka. I don't want to brutalize the guy's last name. But the guy, Turkey, from the Saudi Arabia. We know they're gonna pay. They pay how they weigh over there. Eddie Hearn, from what I've been told and reliable sources, Eddie Hearn pay like he weigh. That's all I'm just going by what I heard from reliable sources. So I'm sure that number that Eddie and them called the Norman father and son for, that was more than what they got in the last check. But the manager, I want to put that out there. See, I'm a boxing manager, right? Am I qualified to speak on the business? Oh, okay. I want to rewind it because I know some people, I already know what's going to happen when this video go off. I'm waiting I already know what's going to happen. It's going to be conversations that people going to need to have with me, or at least want to have with me because of the perspective that I have. And I'm okay with it. We can have dialogue. But I'm just saying, I got to listen to what the man is saying. I got to listen to him. Lifeline Music TV. Appreciate you, big dog, for the super chat and the super sticker. Well, the super sticker. Thank you. Everything is going well, man. I'm good. We back in rotation, Lifeline. We back in rotation. We back. I'm going to be out here all week. Tomorrow I'm going to be here. Thursday, Friday, Sunday. Be right back here. I'm going to rewind the tape real quick. Let me roll the tape. Oh, let me see something.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just, yeah.
Nah, it's worth more than that. But again, our regular dads just at the thought of the fight said hell yeah immediately. It was our management that was like, nah, we can't accept that money, you know?
There it is. That's the elephant in the room. Y'all missed that? There's two elephants in this room. I'm going to address them right now. That's the first one. The manager, the management said, Management said, nope. Management got the call. The number that was offered to management, they said, no, no. But the fighter, according to what his father said, the fighter and the father of the fighter said, that was a decent amount of money. We jumped at the offer. Hey, that's what the father said. They jumped at the offer to fight Boots. They ain't ducking Boots. They not shying away from the smoke with Boots. Let's be clear on that. But that's not the contention here. It's the business part. That's why I'm speaking on it. Because there's two elements in the room and I don't think people are addressing it. So that's the first one. They was ready to jump at the offer. But the management said no. That's what the father said. Hey, we got to go by what the man just said now. That's all it is. That's what the father said. The management rejected the offer and said, it's not enough. I have a great idea. I have experience in the business. I could surmise why, but that ain't my place. Meaning why management thought it wasn't a lot of money. But we're going to address the elephant in the room. So now it's clear who turned down the offer. It wasn't Brian Norman Sr., wasn't Brian Norman Jr. It was the management. Now y'all see why I told y'all about a phone booth, why we need to stop saying on YouTube and all other areas and places in the community of boxing, you're only as good as your last fight. I don't say that. That makes absolutely no sense. The new adage, and I'm starting the trend moving forward. I told you this about a phone booth. It's not about how you look in your last fight. It's not important. The new adage is you're only as good as your team around you. It has nothing to do with your last fight. The representation, if you have one around you, is important. Double salute to my guy, Jeremy Austin. Jeremy Austin, what's up, man? He's a member of the channel, supervisor of the Roller Tape Film Crew. You're only as good as your team. Care about how you look in your last fight? Deontay Wilder looked good in his last fight when he fought Robert Helenius, knocked him out within, a minute and a half in the first round? And then in his next fight, what happened to him when he fought Fury? All right, then. It's not about your last fight. is your team about that's around you? Do you have a team? Most boxers don't even have good representation. And that's why I started my motto. You're going to see it all on merchandise real soon. Good representation is priceless. Did I tell y'all that? Okay, so that's one elephant in the room that we can address. The management. The management. Hey, Brian Norman Sr. said they jumped at the offer because it was decent money. And they believe they can beat Boots, right? All right, that's fair enough. But the management said it wasn't enough money. The management basically said, they lowballing you. You know your worth. They trying to pay you pennies on a dollar for this unification bout. That's what the father said. Okay? All right now. Now let's go back. Let's go back to that same interview. And we're going to see what Brian Norman Sr. also said. I want to put this in perspective now.
I was on the boxing voices. I was all over that shit. I was everywhere. Like, what the fuck is this? I made a post. That's how you saw it, Mill. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all over it. Like, what the fuck now? And it's not something that's fly by night. We got to wait for, to next year. No. We can do this shit now. We still got time to do it now. No smoke. Stand up. We ready.
Well, Bozy Edwards is a friend of the show, friend and family of the show, and he's always on, and I'm pretty sure he'll get on maybe when he hears the response. And
yeah, absolutely. And I want you to let you know how 1,000 I am. Again, I want to make this clear. When we were offered the fight on Saturday, we sent the counteroffer in on Sunday. I called Bozy immediately after we sent the counteroffer in, right? I called Bozy immediately. I told him about it. All respect, you know what I'm saying? Because I fuck with him. I respect him. I said, hey, listen, you know what I'm saying? We accepted the fight, blah, blah, blah. Bozy had no clue what the fuck I was talking about.
Let me stop it right there. I'm going to rewind it because I want to make sure that everybody heard what the father said. Hold on, I'm going to rewind it now. He said a lot. And salute to Brian Norman Sr. for keeping it 1,000. Salute to him. I appreciate him keeping it 1,000 too.
He'll get on maybe when he hears the response. And
yeah, absolutely. And I want you to let you know how 1,000 I am. Again, I want to make this clear. When we were offered the fight on Saturday, we sent the counteroffer in on Sunday.
All right, stop. Second elephant in the room. We're going to address it right now. Double salute to everybody that's shouting me out in the chat. Appreciate y'all. If you're watching the replay of this live, don't hold the door open because you're letting the air out. Because the air fryer is already warmed up. Come on in, grab a plate, have a seat. I got some food for you. Food for thought. Come on in and have a seat. Did y'all hear what Brian Norman Sr. said? Because he was keeping it all the way 1,000, and you got to respect him for this. He said when they were sent the offer on Saturday, there was a counter offer made on Sunday. I just have a question. I just want to make sure we clear, because now he used language that I'm extremely familiar with. Offer, counter offer. Quick question, chat. What is a counter offer? You don't have to have a degree in business administration or business management to know this. Should be a very simple and easy answer. So I have a question, chat, to the Roll the Tape film crew. What is a counter offer? Can somebody in the chat tell me. I want to make sure I'm on the same page. I just want to know, what is a counter offer? What is that? We keep hearing this term, counter offer. What is a counter offer? Can somebody tell me, please? In the chat, please. What is a counter offer? I'm not going to hold y'all too long. We almost done. I just had to understand, what is a counter offer? Can somebody tell me? Somebody? Okay, well, somebody says counter doesn't mean a duck. So yeah, let's see who has intelligence. I want to hear what others think it means as well. Okay. All right. I think somebody just does from Rod. Okay, all things. Okay, says response to an offer. Okay, so response to an offer. Okay, Jahaz says it a decline of the first. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. That's what I thought it meant too. Thank you, Jahaz. I don't even recognize you in the chat. I don't know if this is your first time here, Jahaz, but double salute to you, Jahaz. You ought to be a member of the channel, Jahaz, because you seem very intelligent. You ought to be a member. Okay, KM Terry says it's another offer with different terms. All right. I'm going to stick with the one I read from Jahaz. And I'm going to do it this way because I don't want anybody to say I'm being biased, because I represent the business of boxing and I represent business outside of boxing. But I also don't want anybody to say I'm biased because Boots Ennis is from my city. We all know this. I'm really good friends with him, Bozy, Coach L. I love those guys. I never spoke to any of them as well about this topic. So nobody can say I'm just saying stuff that they said or I'm taking sides. None of that. No, I'm breaking it down. I didn't call Bozy on purpose about this. I didn't say anything to nobody. I haven't even been on YouTube. But I wanted to Google that. What is a counter offer? And that's why I want to stick to the definition that Jahai just said. So a counter offer, this is according to Investopedia.com. This is the source right here. So nobody don't know, I'm just making this up. A counter offer is the response given to an offer, meaning the original offer was rejected and replaced with another one. Okay? It's the second elephant in the room that I'm addressing. The first one was that Brian Norman Sr. and Brian Norman Jr. was willing to jump at the offer when they heard the number, the amount of money that they were being offered, because it was a decent amount. It wasn't life-changing money, but it was a decent amount. These are all the words. These are all the words that Brian Norman Sr. said. I wrote the tape on it. Okay? All right, now let's get to it. He said that management said, we can't accept this offer. Basically, it was too low. And then he also just said, y'all heard him, this is the elephant in the room, the second one, that there was an offer made to them on Saturday, but then on Sunday, a counter offer was made by them. So that means that the offer that was initially and originally given to Brian Norman Jr. was rejected, or wouldn't been no need for a counter offer. In other words, is the terms, conditions, and compensation of the first initial offer was not appealing to management. So they rejected the first offer and made a counter offer. That's exactly what we heard Brian Norman Sr. say. So I wanted to make sure, because I see where the drama and controversy is coming in at, and that's why I wanted to clarify it. I wanted to make sure we were on the same page, because people are conflating, and I think Brian Norman Sr. and Brian Norman Jr. equally conflated this as well. And I don't think they did it intentionally. I just think that's just how it is when you hear somebody say something that just don't sound right. Like they heard Boots say they turned down the fight. All right, so they're conflating. Boxing fans, YouTubers are conflating when Brian Norman Sr. and Brian Norman Jr. say we accepted the fight. They're conflating that truth with another truth based on what Brian Norman Sr. said was that they sent a counter offer. So basically, what I hear from my perspective and what I'm hearing is that Brian Norman Jr. did not decline or reject the notion to fight Boots. So they took it as Boots was saying that they turned down the fight because he didn't want to fight Boots. But in all actuality, it was just a conflated view based on two things that are being said. One thing that's being said is Brian Norman Jr. and Sr. are saying, we want to fight Boots. We didn't turn down fighting Boots. The other thing is that Boots is saying they turned down the offer. And the truth is right in the middle. And Brian Norman Sr. addressed the first two elephants in the room. It wasn't the fighter. It was not Brian Norman Jr. And so why I'm defending him is because people are saying he's ducking Boots. Young man sound like he want to fight Boots. So we can't say the young man's ducking Boots. I don't think he is ducking Boots. But what it is management turned down the fight. Because management didn't think that the money that was offered to them was enough. Was worth it. That's basically what happened. And people love drama so much, it seems to me that a lot of people couldn't just do what I just did and dissect what both parties said and meet right in the middle. This was very simple to me when I heard it. When I heard Boots' side and then I heard this interview, I figured it out within 20 seconds. I got it. So they didn't reject the notion or the idea of fighting Boots. But what it was, the money. That's why the counteroffer was sent. See, if you agreed to all the terms in the original verbal agreement, it would be no need for a counteroffer. So if we really want to keep it all the way 1,000, like Brian Norman Sr. did, basically management rejected the offer, not the fighter. So the fighter shouldn't be penalized. But that's why good representation in this business is priceless. And I'm not saying anything bad about their representation. I'm just telling you straight up what the man said. Management said, no, we can possibly get way more money than what they're offering. But the problem with that, put my manager hat on. The problem with that is that when you are a B-side, it's hard to send a counteroffer in the situation and climate that we're in with both of these fighters. Let me give you an example. Now I'm going to teach the business of boxing now. And on top of that, it's another elephant in the room that I want to address, and then I'm going to let y'all go. It's hard for Eddie Hearn in Matchroom to appeal to a counter offer. You want to know why? I'm going to tell you, and I haven't talked to Eddie Hearn. I don't know him personally or nothing, but I want y'all to think about this so that y'all can understand how boxing managers and boxing promoters think when we talk about, remember that question I asked you to ask your significant other when you first meet them? How can you add value to my life? So let's use that perspective and apply it to this situation. If I'm Eddie Hearn, right? If I'm a boxing promoter and I'm asking myself, how does Brian Norman Jr. add value to my wallet? How does Brian Norman Jr. add value to my promotion against my A-side fighter? How can Brian Norman Jr. add value to my company, to my vision for my company, for my vision for the fighter that I'm representing, Boots Ennis? How can Brian Norman Jr. add value to my promotion? How? Let me consider some facts about Brian Norman Jr. And then based on the value that he add, I'm going to be willing to invest my resources, my efforts, my energy, my company, and my money based on the value he add. So if I'm Eddie Hearn, the first thing I'm thinking of is his performance inside the ring. All right, so I'm looking at his performance in the ring. Okay, he knocked the guy out in his last fight. That was a very competitive fight. He looked good. Okay, took a lot of punishment as far as the amount of punches that was landed on him, but that's good because him and Boots, they be letting certain people hit him unnecessarily. So this might be a barn burner. Okay, I'm gonna consider that. Well, my champion Boots has a title, and this young man has a title as well. And he's young. Boots is young. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna consider that. This young man is durable, seems healthy. So the likelihood of him pulling out of this fight for maybe missing weight or having an eye issue or failing a physical, those chances are very, very slim. So I'll consider that. But wait a minute. Those are good things, but now let me look at the flip side of that coin before I pull my wallet out. Hold on for a minute. He never headlined his own card before. He never been the main event. Not even in his hometown at the four rounds in Georgia. Gotta consider that. Knock some points off of the board for that. So I can save some money with that. I can use that as leverage. When I start taking away some of this money, I'm gonna invest. Okay, so that's one. Okay. How many times did you ever have an opportunity to be in a 12-round fight compared to my fighter Boots? Once? Just his last fight? Okay, I gotta consider that. Okay, I gotta consider that. All right. When the last time he had a knockout? Besides the last fight? Oh, when he was fighting for six rounds in 2021? And he's had 5 or 6 fights since. Oh, okay, all right, okay. So I knocked some money down off of that. I got more leverage on that. Okay, what else? Okay, so all the guys he fought was usually smaller than him. Okay, I gotta use that leverage on. Okay. Y'all see where I'm going with this, don't you? Okay. Hold on. Let me see what the fanfare is saying about him. Let me go on YouTube and see when the last time people start talking about him, because he fought in May. Dang, nobody was talking about him 3 weeks ago? Nobody on YouTube was talking about him 2 months ago? Damn, nobody was on YouTube talking about him in June? Man, I wonder if I make an appeal to DAZN, how much are they willing to pay if nobody knows exactly who he... Oh, okay. All right, well, my fighter, Boots, in his last fight, he looked real good. And on top of that, he sold a lot of tickets in his hometown out there in Philly. Oh, this is a no-brainer. And my fighter's the A-side? And I might bring this fight to Philly again? Okay, I considered all of the facts, not feelings, not what a fighter feel his worth is, not what a fighter think his worth is, but I'm considering the facts. All right, I'm going to be fair. I'm going to get on the phone and make this offer. You see how this thing works, y'all? I'm teaching you the business of boxing. You listen, you ain't going to find this nowhere else. That's why I'm glad you came right over here. So with that being said, once again, a professional boxer's worth is not based on how they feel and what they think. It's based on the added value they can give to the promoter. Because based on that answer, then that's when the promoter will be willing to invest his or her time, effort, resources, and money. Very, very simple. You can apply that same principle in your personal life, in your relationships, period. That's why I asked that question. How can you add value to my life? You want me to invest my time, my energy, my affection, my resources, my money to get to know you as a woman? How can you add value to my life? You can't have an inflated ego because of how you feel and what you think. That's not how it works in business. That's all I'm saying. If I was Eddie Hearn, that's how I would be thinking. That's because I know the business. And the velocity, see, that's important now. The velocity of the money, the velocity of the return. If I'm offering him more money, I'm talking about if I'm Eddie Hearn and I'm talking about Brian Norman Jr., if I'm offering him more money than he made in his last fight on ESPN, I'm being feared just off of that alone. Unification bout or not. And I want to speak on that. Unification bout or not. And this is how I'm going to segue into the last point. Because, hey, the father said it was a decent amount of money. Wasn't life-changing, of course, but it was a decent amount. He said they reckless. They jump right at it because they know they can beat Boots and they would love to fight Boots. They jump right at the offer. But the management turned it down. That's what he said. And I respect him for keeping it all the way 100. But I think a lot of people miss that because people start getting sensationalized with the conflation of what Boots was saying and the father and son, and not just really dissecting it as easily as I did. Now, let's get back to this because he said something else. I want to teach you the business of boxing about something. And I'm going to also surmise, based on my knowledge of the business, of why I believe the manager turned the fight down, rejected the initial offer. Hold on.
Or, send off as far as verbally, and I say, man, this fight ain't happening. And they're like, well, what you mean? I just called fucking Bolton. Bolton told me he didn't even know about this shit. So I'm like, Matchroom doing this shit behind their back. So now, behoove to me, I come today, and Boots is the one that put that shit out. So Boots did know. He just didn't tell the dad. Oh. He just didn't tell the dad. Yeah.
Okay. Now we get somewhere now.
Right.
If Boots knows about the counter offer?
No, apparently not. He said we turned it down. You can't know about the counter offer. You said we turned it down. No, we didn't outprice ourselves.
Now, let me ask you a question. Would it be a possibility that your management got in contact with Boots, and that's what?
Absolutely not. We went through top rank. We went through top rank.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, nobody spoke to anybody personally. Matchroom reached out to Top Rank. Top Rank reached out to our management. Jolene reached out to us. We reversed it in the same exact order.
All right. Did y'all hear that? Hey, I can only go by the honesty of Brian Norman Sr. That's why I got to salute to him. You know what I mean? Keeping it real. Who that right there? Raheem. Double salute to you for subscribing to the channel yesterday, my brother. You will not be disappointed. And listen, you love my content. I love you back, man. Thank you for your support. Did y'all hear Brian Norman Sr.? This is the third element in the third element. Well, it is a third element. The third elephant in the room. I'm going to address this, and I promise you I'm going to let you go. I miss y'all so much. I don't even want to let you guys go, and ladies. But I got to, listen, nobody else can break this thing down on YouTube. They don't know the business. That's why I'm glad y'all are here. I'm going to rewind it, roll the tape again, because I want everybody to be on the same page here of how the business of I'm glad he said this. Because see, when I say it, you know what people say? Oh, man, Jamarty, you a hater. So I'm glad other people can say it. I can use it as a teachable moment. Let me rewind that last part, and y'all going to see why I believe the manager turned the fight down or rejected the initial offer.
Okay. All the time, he didn't even know about this shit. So I'm like, Matchroom doing this shit behind their back. So now, behoove to me, I come today, and Boots is the one that put that shit out. So Boots did know. He just didn't tell the dad. He just didn't tell the dad. Yeah.
Okay. Now we get somewhere now.
Right.
If Boots knows about the counter offer?
No, apparently not. He said we turned it down. You can't know about the counter. You say we turned it down. No, we did not outprice ourselves.
Now, let me ask you a question. Would it be a possibility that your management got in contact with Boost, and that's what?
Absolutely not. We went through top rank. We went through top rank.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, nobody spoke to anybody personally. Matchroom reached out to Top Rank. Top Rank reached out to our management. Jolene reached out to us. We reversed it in the same exact order.
All right, there it is. You heard it. He said Matchroom reached out to Top Rank, which is Brian Norman Jr.'s promoter. Brian Norman Jr.'s promoter reached out to the manager, Jolene. And then Jolene, that's interesting, funneled the information to the fighter. And then he also said that they funneled the counter in the reverse order, meaning that the fighter responded to Jolene, the manager then spoke to Top Rank, and then Top Rank went back and talked to Eddie Hearn. That's the business of boxing. There was a protocol. See, that's what I want y'all. I'm glad y'all here. That was a protocol. The protocol is Eddie Hearn and Matchroom already know that Brian Norman Jr. is signed to Top Rank. So that was good business. As a form of good etiquette and good business ethics, Eddie Hearn, representing his promotion company Matchroom, reached out to the promoter of the fighter, Top Rank. Top Rank then, good business. I love to see this stuff. This is good business, good etiquette, protocol. Reached out to Brian Norman Jr.'s management, Jolene, the manager. Good business again. And then the manager reached out to the fighter. Now, where we get the confusion at is that once the fighter and the dad of the fighter said, we'll take it, we want boots, it's decent money, the manager said, see, we got to call it what it is now. Everybody followed the protocol of doing good business and having good business etiquette in the business and sport of boxing, because it trickled all the way down from Matchroom calling Top Rank calling the manager calling the fighter, and the fighter and the dad said, yes, it's decent money, we'll take the fight. But the manager rejected the offer and then sent the counter offer. Y'all understand that's what's going on, don't y'all? I'm just going by what the father just said. Double salute to my guy, Lucky McKinnell's, lifelong member of the channels. Day one, too. He day one. Day one. Day one supporter. Lucky, thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate you. Lucky says, thanks for breaking down the business, Marty. You're welcome, bro. This is what I do. So it was a good protocol that was followed from all parties involved. But I want y'all to be clear of how boxing fights and matches don't materialize. Sometimes it's not the fighters. Oh, man, he ducked boots. Brian Norman ducked boots. No, he didn't. Boots was right. They turned the fight down, but it wasn't because they didn't want to fight. It's because their management said it's not enough money. They lowballing us. You're worth more than this. We can squeeze more money out of the promoter behind this. We're the B-side. I don't know if that's all the words that were said, but I'm sure if it wasn't, I'm close enough because I'm a manager. Now, let's get to it now. Y'all know why I think y'all know why I think the manager turned the fight down? Based on the money? And then I'm going to let y'all go. It's because of the same protocol that I just said. The same protocol that Brian Norman Sr. just broke down. The same protocol that makes good business in the sport. Let's break down the protocol one more time so I can really answer y'all the way I really want to answer y'all. Protocol. Eddie Hearn and Matchroom didn't go behind the manager's back and call Brian Norman Jr., right? Eddie Hearn and Matchroom didn't go behind the promoter's back and talk to Brian Norman Jr., right? That happened to me before in the sport of boxing. A fighter I was managing, yeah, the promoter didn't go through the protocol. He didn't get the clearance. He talked to my fighter behind my back without my knowledge and or my consent to make an offer to my fighter that the promoter knew I was representing. Y'all should know how I handled that situation. If you don't, I'll make sure the next time, like tomorrow, if you remind me tomorrow, I'll come back and tell you how the results of that, how that happened, what I did and what I could have done and what I didn't do, and how we won at the end of the day. We, meaning myself and the fighter I was representing anyway. Let's go back to the protocol, because Eddie Hearn did good business. He called the fighter promoter. He called the representation. So Eddie Hearn and Matchroom called and made an offer to Bob Arum. So that meant that Bob Arum in Top Rank was cool with the money that was offered. It sounded like, I don't want to put words in Bob Arum in their mouth. They probably wasn't cool with it. Maybe they wasn't. Who cares? The point that I'm making is it was a protocol. And that's why I believe the manager said it's not enough money, and she rejected the fight. I'm going to break it down real quick. Stay with me. Eddie Hearn reached out to the promoter of Brian Norman Jr., Bob Arum, Top Rank. Top Rank, Bob Arum reached out to Brian Norman Jr.'s representation, the manager. The manager followed protocol and reached out to the fighter. And that's why I believe that the manager rejected the offer initially and came back with a counter offer. The counter offer apparently had more money associated with the compensation for Brian Norman Jr. I mean, we don't have to really overthink that. We know that's the truth, right? Okay, then. Y'all ready for this? It was the protocol that I believe as the reason why the manager turned down the... Let me give you an example. Brian Norman Jr. apparently was going to end up in the red if they would have accepted the money. That ain't got nothing to do with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. Whatever was offered based on the budget of Matchroom, the budget of the zone, based on the fair market value, that has absolutely nothing to do with my point. I want y'all to hear me clearly on this. I'm breaking down the business of boxing. Eddie Hearn offered the fighter some money, but he had to go through different channels to be able to communicate that to Brian Norman Jr. to do good business and follow protocol and have good business etiquette, right? And he did that. Now, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, called Bob Arum in Top Rank because that fighter can't compete on another promoter's card without the consent and the authorization of the promoter who they're signed to. It's the language in their contract. And the reason why Bob Arum and Top Rank contacted that Brian Norman Jr.'s manager, because it's in the language in the contract or agreement between the manager and Brian Norman Jr. that Brian Norman Jr. can't accept any fights on his own behalf without going through the management. This is all standard in boxing. Everything I just said is standard. Now that we established that, let's talk about the real reason why I believe the fight was turned down by the manager. It wasn't enough money for Brian Norman Jr. Now, I know some of y'all might say, well, I thought you said that a fighter's worth is not about how he or she feels or what he or she think. I'm still standing by that. But it wasn't about the worth, in my opinion. Because his last fight was on ESPN. And he wasn't a headliner. And that was his first time fighting for 12 rounds. So we can't talk about worth. But what we can talk about is how this young fighter is going to end up in the red when it's all said and done. You don't know what I'm talking about? Let's follow the protocol of boxing again. See, I keep repeating the protocol to see if y'all catch it. And I'm only repeating myself for the people in the back that be hating on me and throwing shots at me and don't know nothing about the business. Not to the Roller Tape Film Crew family. Now I'm going to really open up the can right now. So basically, Eddie Hearn might have offered a big number, or I ain't gonna say big number because it's not life-changing, but let's just use Brian Norman Sr.'s words, decent money. Eddie Hearn offered decent money to the fighter. But remember, let's go by the protocol now. Eddie Hearn called Bob Airman Top Rank. And guess how much they got to get? Y'all didn't know that the promoter gets a cut? Yes. The promoter gets a cut when their fighter who signed under their promotional company fight on another promoter's card. That has absolutely nothing to do with this card is not a top rank card. In other words, you might have some people that's represented by Bob Arum on the card, but I'm talking about this is not a top rank ESPN Plus event, correct? Okay, great. Now that we established that. So now between 25 to 30% of Brian Norman Jr.'s cut of the compensation is going to have to go to the services of Top Rank Incorporated, because Top Rank is the one who promote the young man, right? And they're going to give the authorization for their product to be advertised and showcased on another competitor's card, right? Okay, now let's go to the other person. 33 1/3% is the maximum that the manager of any professional boxer can take, right? I just want to make sure the math is right. I said between 20 to 30% of this young man's purse is going to go to the services of who? Top Rank Inc. 33 1/3 of this young man's purse is going to have to go to the management. That's just the maximum. Their agreement might be less than that, but I'm just using the maximum. We already at 63% right there. If Top Rank going to take 30%, which is usually standard, but you know, negotiations happen, they can take less. But let's just say 30. And then the manager's taking 33 1/3. We at 63% right off the back of this young man's purse. Should I continue? Okay, I'm glad you said yes, because I am going to continue. He's a world champion, right? The young man is a world champion, correct? So the sanctioning body is going to also get 3%. We had 66% of the young man's purse already. And on top, you want me to continue? Okay, I will. What about taxes? Because, you know, Uncle Sam can't garnish the wages of independent contractor. You know, you got to pay that last. We had 66%, and I didn't even bring up taxes yet. What about his other expenses? You know the trainer got to get paid. You know that, right? You know the cut man or cut woman got to get paid. You know that, right? You know fighters wear certain nice outfits, custom gloves, custom boots, custom trucks with the... Y'all know that, right? I'm just asking the question. I'm at 66% before I include the other elements. So when the manager turned down the fight because of the money, it's because the manager understands that right off the top, These are expenses that have to be garnished before the young man get to see a penny. So the manager trying the best that she can to maximize this young man's earning potential so he can enjoy the fruits of his labor. That's what we do as boxing managers. I'm going to let y'all sit in that for a whole 24 hours and process everything I just said. And I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'm going to ask what y'all think about what I said. You know what? I'm doing way too much talking. Don't take my word for it.